In today's video, we will explore a variety of phrasal verbs connected with information. Let's dive in and understand the meanings and usage of each phrasal verb. First, we have latch onto, which means to understand or grasp something. For example, it took me a while, but eventually I latched onto the main idea of the lecture. Next, we have take in, which means to understand or absorb information. For instance, it was a lot of data to take in at once, but I managed to understand the key points. Moving on to watch out for, which means to be cautious or careful about something. An example would be, watch out for any errors in the report before you submit it. Then we have find out, which means to discover or obtain information. For example, I need to find out what time the meeting starts tomorrow. Next we have check up on, which means to verify or monitor something. For instance, I'll check up on the progress of the project later this week. Following that, we have track down, which means to find someone or something after searching for them. An example would be, the detective was able to track down the missing documents. Moving on to slip out, which means to reveal information unintentionally or secretly. For instance, I didn't mean to let it slip out that we're planning a surprise party for him. Next we have match up, which means to correspond or align with something else. For example, let's check if the receipts match up with the expenses in the budget report. Then we have come under something, which means to be classified or categorized in a certain way. An example would be, this type of behavior comes under the category of workplace harassment. Moving on to draw on or upon something, which means to use something as a resource or reference. For instance, the author drew on her own experiences to write the novel. Following that, we have point out, which means to indicate or bring attention to something. For example, she pointed out the mistake in the calculations during the meeting. And finally, we have turn to, which implies relying on something for help or information, or initiating to think, speak, or write about a subject. For instance, when in doubt, I always turn to the internet for answers to my questions. Another vivid example can be seen in the realm of public speaking. In her speech, a politician turned to the topic of climate change, emphasizing the urgent need for action to mitigate its devastating effects. In conclusion, these phrasal verbs are essential for expressing and understanding various aspects of information. Thank you for watching, and remember to keep these phrasal verbs in mind as you navigate through different contexts.